Ooh.
Private Journal of Captain Jonathan Moran, 21st November 2119.
This is
We have located a craft of unknown origin on the lake.
just the type of thing
Visual
I like.
scans in situ revealed nothing.
Even if that.
Oh, goddamn, Abe Lincoln? Ghost Abe Lincoln?
Where's the torch?
Ah, bro. Trust your instincts. You did see that. Oh, no. It's almost as if it got into him, right?
You were messing about with the controls on that ship.
Oh, my God. I don't think it's a ghost. It's like a...
We just saw you.
He's a ghost.
Oh, God. In Under the Lake. Hey, Toby. Great opening shot.
Come on, you feel the same? You're itching to save a planet, I know it. Maybe they went for a swim in the creepy flooded village outside. Oh yeah, you see, this is more like it. Come on,
Nah,
hanging.
a bit of respect, perhaps, right?
Look at you, lovely chaps.
The eyes are gone, right?
What are they?
I haven't a clue. Isn't that exciting?
I don't know if they're like the traditional ghost. There's gotta be more to it. They just led them to this. Nice set design. Yeah, it sells it. Careful, careful, careful. Ah! And now one of them might end up being that ghost thing, right? And that's how you kind of bridge the two, perhaps. Don't. And it's in him. I mean, they got you in there.
Did you want to show us this? It's very nice.
That tone's gonna change. Ah, interesting.
Okay, they now appear to be arming themselves.
Maybe the other crew members might show up now?
In here! Quick!
So they can't get through this one. Interesting.
You're from Unit.
Well, if that's what it says.
I'm Pritchard. This is Bennett.
O'Donnell, you're really a doctor. I'm a huge fan. You know, nice work.
Tim Lunn. I signed for Cass. Well, they're ghosts.
Not ghosts.
Yeah.
Cass is saying.
Thank you, but I actually don't need your help. I can speak sign. Go ahead. Well, no, actually, I can't.
I can't, yeah.
It's been deleted.
And that's when we realized the ghost couldn't come in here.
Okay.
What's this place?
So let's build
It's a
on that.
Faraday cage, completely impenetrable to radio waves, and apparently whatever those things are.
Great shot.
Out there.
I'd like to have another look at that spaceship, but what about those things that aren't ghosts?
No, it's all right. They only come out at night.
Weird how that is not comforting.
Yeah. Ooh, kid's missing.
She won't let me look inside the spaceship. She says it's not safe. I'm saying it's not safe out here. I imagine they're pretty valuable.
What?
I mean powerful. Those power cells. I
piss
imagine
off.
They're pretty powerful.
They're ghosts. Yeah.
But
Ghosts.
You said there was no such thing. You actually poo-pooed the ghost theory.
Yes, well, there was no such thing as socks or smartphones and badges until there suddenly were.
Moran was our friend.
The gods.
Oh, right, you are.
ah,
I'm very sorry for your loss. I'll do all I can to solve the death of your friend / family member / pet.
yeah.
Doctor? Doctor, what's wrong?
Ooh.
Must be the ghosts. Whoa, ho! Where do you think you're going?
Out there, where the action is.
Look,
What?
Oh, this is my own fault.
don't go native.
What do you mean I'm not?
Look, there's a whole dimension in here, but there's only room for one me. Hobby.
I really don't.
Or even better, another relationship. Come on, you lot, you're bananas about relationships. You're always writing songs about them, because I've got a duty of care.
Which you take very seriously, I know.
Oh. Oh my god, that is a terrible death. Ugh.
Madonna, it's okay. Pritchard's in here.
Pritchard, you moron. Grab your stuff. We're locking down early.
Richard, you prick.
Get this back into day mode.
Analog, I love that.
Drum Control, this is Topside. We have received your message. Submarine on its way. Over.
Repeat, topside, over.
We've received a request for a rescue sub. It's 2 minutes away. Over.
Topside, who did you speak to and when was this
Ah.
request made? Over.
The ghosts can only come out at night, so they changed the base's time settings. Why? What's different at night?
That's mainly atmospheric. The lights are dim, the noise from the engines is
No.
Something else. Oh, Donald. Excellent work. Returning the base to day mode.
Shut up, was nothing. You really think so?
Now put it back into night mode.
What?
We know nothing. Hey, how's it going?
Bennett's got them moving and Clara's in position.
After about 50 yards on your left, there's a flood door.
But Donald will close the door once you're through.
Is everything going to go according to plan though?
Hey! Yeah, this way.
Ah, shoot.
We've got a problem!
They've separated. We don't have a camera in there.
No, no, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
She's really protective of him, right?
What's happening? Clara!
Yeah, I was gonna say she seems a little robotic. Okay, so you trapped him in there now.
We need to talk.
You're trying to say something. I think by the end of this episode I'll know.
She says they're saying the same thing. The same phrase, over and over.
Wait a minuet. Do you know what this means? It means that they're not a natural phenomenon. It means that someone is deliberately getting people killed, hijacking their souls, and turning them into transmitters. You know, you have chosen to protect and serve. You have given yourself to science in the pursuit of knowledge.
That look.
You've chosen anonymous or selfish lives.
They don't even need to speak, right?
It's a suspended animation chamber from the spaceship.
So the pilot could be in there.
Yeah.
It should be the pilot, it should be. So why do I think it isn't? More questions. It's like we already knew somehow. Like the words were already in us.
So that writing is the coordinates.
These words actually rewrite the synaptic connections in your brain.
Yeah,
They
because
literally change
the moment you take it
the way
in,
you are wired.
they made it pretty clear, right?
Okay, so the spaceship lands here, the pilot leaves the writing on the wall, so whoever sees it when they die, they become a beacon of the coordinates, while he/she/it snoozes in the suspended animation chamber.
Okay, we've got 30 seconds before the flood doors close.
No. No.
Come over here in the TARDIS now!
TARDIS won't go there. Won't go near the ghosts.
Can't just leave us!
I'm going back in time to when the spaceship landed. If I can understand why this is happening, I can stop them killing anyone else. I can save you. Trust me, don't declare.
Ooh. This.
Wait, you're gonna go back in time. How do you do that?
Extremely well.
Ah, damn straight.
Back to before the flood.
Or the flood.
Is it Moran or Pritchard or the mole guy? How did they get out?
No, I don't think it's any of them. I think it's
The doctor.
Ghost.
It's a doctor.
What does that mean?
It's us. Oh, it's a doctor. Ah, no! It's a two-parter. Okay, folks, a double header. Yeah, I've been treated today. Really, it's been quite the day. Of course, first the conclusion to the last two-parter, and then the opening to yet another two-parter. Totally, yeah, they are different types of episodes. But I've got to say, after the 4-episode stretch, perhaps, really high stakes and, end of season, beginning of season type stuff. And then, there's the last Christmas in the middle as well. I like the change. I like that it's finally kind of getting into this stretch of the show, perhaps, right? Don't get me wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed those episodes, the last 4 episodes, right? But it was a nice change of pace. And of course, it's the tried and tested base under siege plot, right? Listen, you guys know by now. This type of setup is so exciting to me, right? It's really reminiscent of episodes like The Rebel Flesh, The Impossible Planet, The God Complex. And if I'm remembering correctly, Toby actually wrote that episode, didn't he? The God Complex. There's a lot of similarities, though I must admit, I think the characterization for the characters in the God Complex, the guest cast, is perhaps a bit stronger than in this episode's guest cast, or for this episode's guest cast. That being said, even if it feels a bit thinner in comparison, it's still really an enjoyable ensemble cast. Also, The Waters of Mars, really similar to that as well, isn't it? And then, of course, the whole, secluded base aspect of it, the claustrophobic nature of all of that, right? Of course, there's a lot of corridor chases. That's, part of it. But yeah, I think even the chases, are really quite engaging for the most part, right? Especially given these ghosts, right? By the end of the episode, you see that it's all over. It's done. It's finished. Dr. Ghost shows up, almost immediately indicating to Clara, perhaps, and even maybe to us, the audience, if you're to believe it, that, the mission to the past was a failure. And it's over. The Doctor's done. He's gone. Of course not. Of course not. Ultimately, even if the Doctor himself also comes to understand or comes to believe that, oh, actually, maybe these are the ghosts. Maybe these are ghosts. Sorry. And, the thing is, it's a bit of an ongoing theme at this point, isn't it, for Capaldi's Doctor? He takes his time to get from point A to point B, right? He's not easily swayed. He needed to really take in everything that's coming at him before he also kind of admits to it, even though I still don't really believe these are the traditional ghosts or ghosts in the traditional sense, right? There's something going on here. I think there is going to be a science fiction component to this or explanation for this, as there usually is, right? Hell, I even think that it's possible that the Doctor actually put himself in that state or was able to get himself into that state by design, perhaps. Hell, is it even possible it's the Doctor who's in that suspended animation chamber? Yes, could be the Doctor from the past in there, and then he's somehow able to kind of tap into that persona, that avatar, that projection. But listen, the thing is, these people are dead. The commander, who's really set up quite strongly in the early stages, is taken from the crew almost immediately. So that in itself is also some good setup in terms of, okay, the crew members here are going to be a little bit, rattled, right? And then, of course, the scumbag, the corporate scumbag also gets taken out. They die. Like, they show us that they die, right? But still, I do believe there is something else going on here. But the thing is, both the Doctor and I kind of believe that aspect of it at the same time, So I love how us audiences kind of in tune with the Doctor, right? He doesn't really want to believe these are ghosts, and us, the audience, also for the most part. Or maybe I should just speak for myself. Or yeah, I'm sure many of you just thought, okay, no, it's not a ghost in the traditional sense. But yeah, I guess these souls are being repurposed as transmitters, right, by the person who's inside of that case or chamber, perhaps. There's the writing on the wall. There's a lot of clever plot points at play here. A lot of setup here. Great setup. And the thing I really liked about this is the slow pace of it, right? The slow burn pacing of it. And of course, that's allowed by this being a two-parter, right? Listen, I was really enjoying the pace, but I was still really quite shocked by the cliffhanger, right? I just kind of lost track of the runtime, I suppose. But it makes sense that it's a two-parter because it wasn't even close to being solved just yet. And then I suppose in that case, it's a bit of a bummer, in my opinion at least, that, you know, even though it is a two-parter and it is given a lot of time here in episode 1, it is a little bit thin. The characterization for some of these ensemble cast members, the guest members, is a bit thin. But, you know, that being said, there's much to like. You know, there's an interesting relationship going on here with the translator and the acting commander at this point. She is really quite protective of him, perhaps because he is one of the youngest of the crew. Like a mentor type figure for him, perhaps. Or maybe there's something romantic there, though, you know, that wasn't my first thought. I don't know, it felt like there's a bit of an age gap there, and I just didn't get that tone. And isn't it always so lovely to see characters within the universe kind of behave like us, proxies to us, the audience surrogate, right? Geeking out, nerding out over the Doctor. And I cannot remember the name of the character, but I loved her reaction, you know? She just could not hold it back, but then she had to kind of collect herself, compose herself, act professional. But I love those subtle moments. She'll have like a smile on her face as the Doctor is doing Doctor things, right? It's just so wholesome. I love it. And they're together, right, for the next part. So that's fantastic. That's perfect, actually. And then, you know, it's a good old case of the Doctor and the companion getting separated. So, of course, Clara is going to have a dynamic with those characters. And then that in itself is really interesting, isn't it? Because you see that the Clara that is really, really, you know, beginning to feel like the Doctor, or was beginning to feel like the Doctor, or another Doctor, essentially, that aspect of it is really being pulled back in this episode, right? You know, I think I spoke of this. I did speak of this, that she doesn't have that tether to her Earth life anymore, normal life anymore. This is her life now, her normal life. And the fact is, or sorry, not the fact, the thing is, the Doctor himself has noticed this, and he doesn't quite like it either. You know, he's imploring her, you know, perhaps it was a bit of comic relief, but, you know, there is a bit of concern in there. He's imploring her to, you know, find a hobby, to find another romantic interest, right? To keep her tethered to the real life on Earth. You know, I do have a care of duty. I love that scene. I like that. He's noticed already that she's a little bit more reckless. She's a little bit thirsty for action, for more adventure, high stakes situations. You know, it's beginning to kind of fall back into that era of Clara, right? It's risky. It's concerning, right? And I love that the Doctor sees this. Though I didn't like the choice of him, or getting him to kind of almost, you know, admit that, okay, you know, I felt that I had to say this. Can I stop saying this now? You know, because I feel like it is nice that he is showing that concern, right? But I guess it's a mix of the two, right? He feels that he has to check her a bit, to check in. And then I suppose, you know, maybe the humor aspect of it kind of functions by the end of it. I mean, there's a lot of fun moments in this, a lot of fun moments. You know, you see that Clara is really helping the Doctor kind of understand human nature, human empathy, because there is this empathy prompt, right? These flashcards, index cards, to help him understand and address any given situation, emotional situation, adequately. Now, even though it was funny, right? There is a fun element to it. I actually do think that the Doctor is making an effort, that he must have asked Clara, or, you know, a collaboration. He must have asked her to help him better understand human emotions, right? Human nature. Because that's been one of the standouts for this Doctor specifically as well, right? He doesn't quite understand humans, or at least human emotions, right? He's not really dialed in. And you know, Series 8, he made no attempt to hide that. She's my carer, so I don't have to care. But now he actually does care. I mean, this, you know, I used to say this for Matt Smith all the time, but I think Capaldi might be the most alien doctor of all. Really, right? In the disconnect from human emotions. Though Matt Smith was an excellent alien creature, right? He really had that down. So I'd say Eccleston, Matt Smith and Capaldi feel like the most alien of the doctors. And, you know, I have to say once again, Capaldi is in top form. I mean, it's just so gripping to see him on screen, right? To see him do his thing. He commands your attention. That screen presence is just spectacular, isn't it? My goodness, man. Peter Capaldi, big fan. Listen, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record because I am going to say this a lot. I'm sure of it. This is Capaldi's Doctor now, right? It gave us Series 8. It gave us that, you know, phase of it. But now this is truly the Capaldi Doctor era, isn't it? And I'm so excited for it. I've got the rest of Series 9, and then I've got Series 10 as well. And I really wanted to mention the color grading or the color design. You know, they've really landed on the teal and orange look. And, you know, even though it's one of the go-to looks, it's really a prominent look. I think it just functions. It's really quite effective for this phase of Doctor Who. Maybe it might not have been the choice in the past, but here I think it's really quite effective. I just love the color grading. I really do have to look up who does the color grade for Doctor Who in this phase of the show, at least. That's one filmmaking aspect or post-production aspect that I'm really into, that I'm really quite fascinated by. And yeah, you know, it's a prominent component of the look, right? The photography of anything, be it film, television, YouTube. So yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of that. So that's something that really does kind of appeal to me or, you know, stick out to me in these episodes as well, right? Alongside the photography. And of course, that's excellent. It continues to be excellent. I feel that the angles are really used quite effectively to really make it look like a much larger base than it is, to make the set look much larger than it is. So yeah, you know, a lot of fantastic stuff in this episode. But I think that should do it. It's exciting setup. It really is. And I'm sure there's going to be an interesting explanation for the Doctor I'm seeing outside, right? Eyes missing. But it's a damn good cliffhanger. It really is. You know, just at the moment as Clara is full of belief, right? Yeah. You know, Doctor's got this. Speak of the devil, she sees the Doctor out there, but in the wrong form, right? Good cliffhanger. Really good cliffhanger. But yeah, if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in full length, timer-based full length, of course, or perhaps even early access, consider checking out the Patreon page and potentially supporting the channel. Links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media. Okay, that wraps it up, folks. Double header. It's been a good day for Doctor Who. I've had a fun time. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious, always. And I do hope to see you again soon for part 2. Until then, take it easy.